like when the market was going really down hard the last couple of weeks, if we had short investing, I would have made my clients lots of money. Because the market was going down, not up.
Yeah.
You make money when the market goes down, and when you short things. What I have always done to study for an exam is I read the book cover to cover, okay? But then I go back through and I go and take the practice exam on every chapter. Mm-hmm. And then where I see I'm not getting it, I go back and look at that part of the chapter that I'm not getting and read it until I start understanding it so I can pass that part of the practice test. And I do that on every chapter until eventually I take the practice exams for the whole book and start making better scores. And then once I'm making better scores, then I take my test. You got to realize, when I took Dallas to that trip to Africa, I spent $10,000. The guy I went with, Mark Messenger, has over 8.5 million invested with me.
Wow.
He already has, and he has more money in another fund. I was able to spend 10 days with him and his son, who I'd never met before. Well, guess what? If Mark passes away, Grant, his son, knows me well, right? Yeah. So now I have a good relationship with his son. So if he passes away, he's going to leave the money with me because he knows me, and he knows who I am. I make it an effort for me to meet my clients, either parents or their kids. Like if I'm doing business with them and they have older kids, I want to meet their kids, develop relationships with them, so that down the road, if my clients pass away, they already know who I am. I got a referral. I was down in Africa. I have a client that's been the father's been doing business with me since 1994. His son has done business. He was in Florida. He's done business with me now for a long time. Well, he just referred me to another guy down in Florida, so I'm going to go see down in May 17th. This client worked for a auto repair business for years and years and years, and the guy that he worked for retired, so he bought it from him, and now this guy is making way more money than he used to make.
Wow.
So I'm going to go down and sit down with him and his wife and get them to start investing.
What funds are you using now?
Okay, so when I saw what was going to happen this year, I started putting people in equity and income fund.
Okay.
And the reason I'm doing that is over the last 2 years, technology was where all the growth was.
Yeah.
Right? But I knew this year was going to be different.
Right.
So, and I wanted a broad-based portfolio for my client. I didn't want to be in any one thing. I wanted to be in a lot of things.
Right.
Because I couldn't figure out what was going to make money. So that's why I left some of the money in the floating rate. I put a lot of the money in equity and income.
Okay.
And I put a little bit of money in Comstock or in the VVOAX. Yeah, that's the mid-cap value. That fund is killing it. It will this year. We'll see where it is so far this year. But it's a value fund. Anything that's value, you want to be in. And gold. VVOAX. It was in the number 1 percentile last year. 3-year average is 12%. 5-year average is 24.75%. It's a good fund. So it's like I said, it's a mid-cap value. The same people that manage this fund are the ones that manage the small cap value. VSCAX, yeah. So it's a good fund, a well-managed fund.
It was good last year and the year before, wasn't it?
But this year's not doing so hot, but it will.
The Comstock seemed to be performing better than any of them.
Really?
Comstock.
Better than equity income?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only down 2.45%. Equity and income.
Down 3.29.
Still not bad.
Ain't bad at
I was telling my clients are down only in the single digits.
all. Some of my customers might have put in gold. I think that's good to leave it back in February.
Yeah, you made a lot of money. You made 30 or 40%.
Yeah. Think it's going to stay there because I made that.
As long as there's uncertainty, because uncertainty is going away.
Yeah.
So you got to be. It's going to turn on a dime.
Should I just say that?
I'd probably start dollar cost averaging out of it. Yeah, equity income down 3.29. AFRAX, I still have. That's got a 9% yield on it. It's down 0.37 for the year. Yield to maturity 9.91%.
My social security now that when you get 66 full retirement age, you can make as much money you want without them taking dollar from every two that you make from social security.
Okay.
Next month I'll be at that age.
Do we do stuff with hedge funds?
No. Hedge funds historically have underperformed everything. And the good thing about hedge funds is they'll invest in things other than just standard stocks. They can invest in businesses, things like that too.
REITs, R-E-I-T?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of REITs.
Yeah.
Real estate bonus trusts. And a lot of funds there's mutual funds that have all REITs in them. So like if I think real estate's going to do well, I'll start putting my clients in REIT funds. Yeah, but rates are high right now. Real estate's not doing as well as it was, so I'm not putting them in it right now.
Hey, remember that short-term bond fund, the STBAX?
Yeah,
Why bonds done pretty good?
because there's fear, and bonds are going up in price. So people are buying bonds.
Really, when interest rate, no, it's the opposite, isn't it?
I know, but we're in a weird period, and bonds really are kind of scary. We are in a turning point in our economy.
Crazy, it ain't.
Yeah, there are some things out there that are hanging out there that are of concern in our economy. The whole reason Trump is doing what he's doing with tariffs is to keep us from going completely out of business. The United States economy. But China is doing very poorly, very poorly. Did you know their unemployment rate for young adults, especially, is between 30 and 40%? Right now, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of homeless young people that used to have jobs that are now sleeping on the street. When you got that many people in a country, and they're lying about the population, by the way, they don't have 1.4 billion. They only have about 800 million. When you have that many people doing very, very poorly, it doesn't take that long before you have a coup where you get rid of the leadership. And I suspect that's what's going to happen. The Chinese lie about everything. And how you can tell is their lips are moving. That's how you know they're lying. Now, when they lie about their population, because they know if the Asian culture forever is about saving face, and they don't want to admit to being weak on anything, even when they are. They don't want to admit that when they allowed, for example, people like me to adopt 2 Chinese people, they don't want to admit that was a mistake. They were selling babies out of China for the last 20 plus years at a very high rate. And now, I bet you they wish they had a lot of those people back. Because now what they have a huge problem. They have a lot of old people. They are not productive anymore. And then they have a lot of young people. They have some young people, but not enough to replace the old people that when they die. But now, it was not, by the way, it's not Trump that's causing their economy to go down the toilet. What happened is China was stealing intellectual property. You know what that is? What they would do is, like, China would say, hey, Caterpillar, why don't you come start building Caterpillars, tractors here in our country. We'll do it cheap. We'll let you do it cheap. So a lot of American companies were going to China and building things. What the Chinese companies were doing in the country, what they were doing is stealing their technology, how they did it. So they say, hey, come do it. We'd watch exactly how they did it. And then 2 miles down the road, they built a factory building stuff competing with Caterpillar and selling for about half the price. Mm-hmm. Now, their quality is never as good. But so that's what they've been doing. They did it for everybody. And they are all about stealing ideas. Okay, that's what they've been doing for years. And so Samsung's pulled out of there, which is Korean based. In 2023, companies started pulling out, but even before Trump got elected. And Samsung left, and another Nokia, Canon, a lot of companies were pulling out of China, and then now Apple's leaving, has already left a big chunk. Now they're taking all their phones out of there. So there for a while, China was like the manufacturing hub of the world. But because they can't be trusted, because they've been stealing intellectual property, it was leaving. And they're going to India. India is going to be the new China. The reason it took so long to get India going is India's infrastructure was terrible. And now it's starting to come around. And they're a democracy, not communist like China is. So it's a little bit better. So you're going to see everything move to India. China is going to go down a very dark path. The real estate market has already collapsed. Their bond yields are in the 1%. So they're doing very bad.
So what do you think they're gonna do, so?
They probably will never recover. They will not be they will not be a superpower. They can't afford to be. And Xi Jinping is the leader. And he already got rid of one of his top generals last week. So I think he's on his way out. He'll either be a coup, something's going to happen. Because the people don't want him anymore. And they don't want the CCP anymore, which is a Chinese Communist Party. The people in China don't want that anymore. A lot of the people in China like Trump. They want to be a democracy.
So I wonder if they're eventually gonna turn into a democracy or how that's.
That'd be a tall order. That'd be a revolution. That'd be a big war. Civil war. And there are already people starving, homeless, unemployed. Because here's a statistic, the United States represents 4% of the world's population. Well, we represent 30% of the world's spending. We buy more stuff than anyone else in the world. So that because of that, that's why China's hurting so bad. That's why they can't win in the tariff war. Because we buy 4 times more stuff from them than they buy from us. So if we decide we're not going to buy from them anymore, they immediately go down a dark place. And they can't survive. They cannot win. But they don't want to admit they can't. And they lie that they're not negotiating behind the scenes with Trump. They are negotiating with Trump. But they're trying to save face.
How do you think they would try to start a war or anything?
Yeah, they want Taiwan. But I don't know if they have the money to do it. They're already so far in debt. It's unbelievable. I always said that China was going to be very like what happened in Japan. About the time you were born, Japan was buying up everything. Japan was buying skyscrapers in New York, California. They're buying everything. And it looked like Japanese were going to hold the whole world. And then they went and they all collapsed on them, just like it's fixing to happen in China. And Japan has been in a 40-year recession.
Oh, wow.
Since the 80s. And I saw it coming. Every country that ever has tried to make a run at the United States like that has run themselves so far in debt that eventually it collapses. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's fixing to happen to China. And I'm not sure I want to go to China right now. I'm not sure you can get back out. Yeah, I would never bring my kids to China. Never. Because I'd be afraid they wouldn't be able to leave. China's a scary place. I have clients that the husband is, the guy I bought the Mercedes from. He's a retired Delta captain, and he made quite a bit of money. And then his wife is a retired flight attendant, and they've never had any children. Wow. They made pretty good money. They have quite a bit of money invested. He's going to inherit over $1 million from his sister. His sister's already set aside $1 million aside just for him. Huh?
What do you care people when they got nobody in life?
And he has no beneficiaries. I said, and he worries. Here's the thing. He's my client that worries more when the market goes down. He worries more about it than any of my other clients.
Oh, really?
And he's got needs. And I said, as a matter of fact, I was communicating with him while I was down in Africa. I sent him a picture of what scene from Africa, and he said, "Well, it must be nice to have money." I said, I texted back to him. I said, is you have money that you just don't realize it. You have plenty of money. And your account, his account is worth millions, and it's only down. It's down like 3.5%. That's all it's down.
I'm still worried.
And he's still worrying. Okay, and like I said, he's got plenty of money. He gets $9 grand a month from just his pension from retiring as a pilot. Not counting all them. He doesn't even use any of the money he has invested with me. He doesn't get a monthly check from any of my accounts.
Oh wow.
He's 70 some odd, and he's a super nice guy, and he's he's really fun, and he's probably the best pilot. The one person I would fly with is he's the best pilot you'll ever come across.
Yeah.
He flew Chicago, the band Chicago.
Or that's the one?
Yeah, he does everything. He can fly a helicopter. He can fly anything, and he's good at it. Really good at it. He teaches people how to fly. So, as a matter of fact, he has the same problem, by the way, having his students show to learn how to fly.
Oh really?
Yeah, he can't get them to show up to fly, but they want to get a license.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's let's sign off on
Put
this.
him with the air.
So it doesn't matter what you do. People aren't going to show up, do it right. So he worries about running out of money, and so
So what would happen to his money if he ran?
so I said, "What are you going to do with this money?" I said, "You need to find you a charity
Yeah, that's what
or a cause that you like, something something you support that you want to leave this money to."
Yeah.
Because right now the only beneficiary he has is his wife, and she has him, but I don't know who they've been. It's sometimes both of them where the money's going to go. 90% of Canada's population lives within 100 miles of the United States.
Oh really? What's that?
Nearly everyone lives. Yeah, just about all the population of Canada is right on just north of America. Oh yeah, 2/3 of the world are covered with water. Because right here and right here, 20 cents on the dollar. Everything's cheap in South Africa. For example, for me to stay in that hotel room, $50 a night.